Blue plate special. Grab yourself a couple of balls of clay and that are about 3 to 5 pounds. Why 3 to 5 pounds? Because it really all depends on A, how big you want your plate, and B, how thick you want your plate, and whether or not you want a foot ring. Experiment. Figure out what style is best for you. But no matter what, you want to get it nice and centered. When you get it centered, it's about bringing it down. This first plate, I'm only going to bring it out to about 8 inches, but I'm going to take my hand over top and I'm starting from the center and I'm rolling over, getting it even, getting it, you want to roll it out so it stays center. Once we get it as far as we need, I push down, and now it's about pushing down and pulling towards you slowly. You don't want to do it in jerky movements. You want to keep yourself centered. You can always hold your rim of the wall of your clay to keep it centered. I will check the bottom because sometimes I'm snoozing. I need to open this up a little more. Once again, I'm going to push down in the center for a bit, grab a little bit, and I am using my fingers to kind of pinch the top of that and pull, while I'm also using the sponge to make sure everything rolls over. See the little pinch, and the sponge is kind of helping it roll over on itself so that it's not going up really high and getting out of hand, it's rolling over and it will marry nicely into the ring that's on the outside. If I need to, I will check again, keep it all going. Keep this in mind, about 3/4 of an inch for a plate. If you want a foot ring, no more than half, because when you go to wire this off, the wire will kind of bunch up and cut off more in the center than it is on the ends. So if you have a thin plate, you could just end up creating, a giant tear. Keep that in mind. Go for a little thicker than you need at first. All right, once we get it out to as wide as we need, which for this is about 8 inches because we're going to have a tall, thick rim, compress. I'm going from the outside in. I'm pushing down. So if I have maybe a 3/4 of an inch bottom, I can compress that down into maybe a 1/2 inch. It'll be a thick, strong bottom. Hopefully won't get S cracks. Notice I don't leave water in there. You really don't want to leave water in there to weaken your pot. But I will go in, I will fiddle and fiddle and fiddle until I feel that I have a nice smooth bottom and a wonderfully strong bottom. Now, let's go and pull this baby up, because I'm going to go a little tall, because it's going to be the kind of rim that you can pass around, that your fingers aren't sitting in the plate, commonly known as the spaghetti plate. So I pull it up, do 2 lovely pulls. Notice I'm keeping my rim thick. Thick rim means you will have a nice plate, because once you push it over, it will thin out. Right now, metal rib, I'm getting rid of excess water, sludgy stuff, and I'm doing a little compression. I want to have a strong wall, so when I push it over, it has strength and it will do what I need to do. Once I get that going, I'm going to come in here, get my little rib. Always getting that little rib. I am now creating a nice curve where the floor and the wall meets. It's not about pushing it out, it's just getting that curve in there. You want to it's a subtle thing. Everything about throwing is subtle. Once I come in here, I am now about a 1/2 inch above where the floor and the wall meets, beyond the little curve, and I am slowly pushing it over, pivoting. So holding the bottom kind of exactly where it is, and it's really the top that is slowly tilting, pushing it over. See how that's coming down? That's maybe about 2 inches, I want to say. Getting my finger underneath to support, just letting it just sit there and make a nice surface. Flat surface, nice surface. I will go in and just make sure that that's a nice crisp curve there. This is turning into a really nice plate. All right, I will smooth out my face plate. I will, go over my rim. You don't want your rim so flat down that it falls over. Keep that in mind. And also remember that when it dries, it'll start to pull up. So there's always finding that nice balance. And I will tend to the rim You can always do these things when it's leather hard. Sometimes it's best not to touch. Keep that in mind. Once we get to the point where we're wiring it off, remember you want to hold your wire tight and you want to put it, you'll notice I put it between my two thumbs and I push my thumbs down onto my bat. Wheel must be spinning, but not too fast. And usually by the time you get halfway through, you will feel that release. Keep pushing down and pull the wire towards you. And hopefully all goes well. All right, look, that is just a really, really lovely plate. Yeah. On to the next one. Oh, I've already up, down the whole 9 yards. We are just going fast. The whole thing with this is I'm not going to show you how to, cone up and down, but we bring it out again. This one's going to be more minimalist style. So once I've got my clay out as far as I need, I will, yes, compress. I'm always going to show you the compressing, because compressing when something is wide is really important, whether it's a bowl or a plate or a mug. One thing about doing plates and getting really used to compressing your bottom is you will get really used to compressing the bottoms of all your pots. Helps to get rid of S-cracks. Yeah, I'm using a little bit of a round rib to kind of get at it. That's one way to get something really nice and compressed. This one, I've gone out over 10 inches and now I'm just coming in here with my thumb, clean thumb, and I am just literally pushing this on the bat underneath, and look how I've risen it up just a little bit. That's it. That's all I have to do. A little bit of a pull to make it nice, and just making sure that my rim doesn't get too crazy. Yeah, there's that one little bit. I don't care. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to set the curve to where the floor and the wall meets. This is also bringing out a little more, and boom. Look, it's done. Seriously. It's quicker, it's easier. This one still, because it's got a nice little curve, will hold some saucy things. I'm just setting the shape of my rim. I like it to go on an angle. Just seems nice. This is not the plate you're going to pick up and pass to someone because there's nothing to hold on to, but this is a really lovely dinner plate. Sure, I'll serve some stuff in it too. But look at that. I'm just setting, smoothing, and then once again, pushing down, pulling tight, having the wheel turn. And there is plate number 2. Kind of classic, very clean, very simple. You want to make life easier? Check this out. Yeah, I just put a slab on there. A nice, thick, big slab. All right, a little water down on the bat head, put your slab. I don't have a slab roller, so I threw this one out, and then I took my rolling pin and I went in many different directions. It's probably a little less than an inch. Put it on, cut it down 10 inches, little, probably right where the bat pins are. It's one way to gauge 10 inches on my wheel. And then I am just sitting here going through a little compression, a little shaping, much like the last plate. I just go and pop that off a little so that I can just grab a little bit of the clay on the side and just lift it up to create a little bit of a wall. Nothing much. It's not dramatic, not crazy. Once I get that settled and not so shimmy, I come in with my rib. I'm going to create that curve where the wall and the floor meets. Also, I'm going to compress the heck out of this. And then, yeah, now I'm just going to shape that little curve. That's it. And then I can just shape my rim. I'm not even going to wire this off because I didn't throw it on there. It's a slab. It'll pop off leather hard. You can also do the first plate I showed you. You just need to make a wider circle when you start, higher walls, and then just keep going. All right. And last plate. Ooh, yeah. What could I possibly be showing you now? I'm going to throw this square. That's what I'm going to show you. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Coned up, centered, brought it all down, compressing the crap out of it. So the usual, it's a plate. Next thing I'm going to want to do after that, once I get all the goopiness off, Lots of goopiness. I'm going to bring my wall up. Nice simple pole, keeping it very cylinder. But make sure you keep your, the rim, the top of the rim, thick, because it's a plate. Once we get that done, a little shimmy shimmy there. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to use the bat pins, my fingers on it, the other one, and I'm going to just make a little mark. Then I'm going to eye straight ahead and then down towards me. I have now marked this into 4 sections. Okay. Now I'm going to stab it, and then I'm going to move it to right before my marks, leaving a little attached. My pin tool is angled down, and I'm just going all the way over, stopping right before, and then stabbing it right after, and then moving it. I'm moving this along. You don't want your wheel going. That'd be crazy. Now I'm adding some slippy goodness to right before where I cut, because I'm going to move my walls. I'm going to pick it up a little and move it. I have pretty clean hands, and I move my wall, and then I'm pressing down and I'm getting rid of the line because you don't want to see the groove. A little bit of compression, a little bit of just pushing it down and then just smushing it over, and you want to make sure that your walls are connected. Once you've got the inside all done and all pretty and all nice, I'm going to come around. I'm just taking my pin tool and I'm scraping along the bottom of my bat head, so I'm releasing the clay underneath, because then I'm going to come along and I'm going to angle in with my pin tool and cut through, and then get rid of that extra lump of clay there, because you don't need it. Go through, do all 4 sides, and then I'm going to come in with either a wooden knife or one of my ribs, plastic, wooden, and hand for support on the inside, and go through and make it a little nicer, compress, get rid of the ridges, make sure that my wall is attached to the bottom of my plate again. Do all 4, doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be easier to clean up when it's in the leather hard state. Now, clean up, make a little nicer, attention to the rim, and this is why we wanted a thicker wall, because now I'm going to throw it and bring my wall down so it's a nice rim plate and not a bowl. Takes a little patience. Don't go too fast, because you've got clay in different places, and just a little bit of fighting, but not. Clean off, reestablish the curve on the inside, compress the bottom a little, make it all nice. This is a somewhat rounded square plate. What I like to do, once it's all nice, is I'm going to come in and stretch that clay and really bring out those corners so it's a little bit more square, a little bit more defined. I will do that with all 4. Notice I'm coming through. I'm not just doing the corner bits. I am stretching from all the way, almost from one side to the next. Move all that clay. That is why it helps to have a nice, thick wall. And there you go. Look at that. Looking pretty sweet. Yeah. So, there you have it. 4 different plates, 4 different ways. I hope this helps you to be a little bit more creative, to make some plates, set a full table. Start thinking about what your dinner plate look like, what your salad plate look like. Do you need small little plates? What can be round? What can be squared? What can have a crazy wide rim? What maybe is more minimalist? It's up to you. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.